My name is Richard Tutor. A few months ago I was diagnosed with the early stages of Parkinson's disease, and I'm having Alexander lessons to see if we can deal with the symptoms. The main ones I experience are trembling in my left arm, locking up of the wrist and the hand, and occasional weakness in the arm, which means that I tend to hold it at an angle rather than letting it swing loose.
You're starting a week's program of Alexander lessons every day to see what the difference will be after a week. The Alexander technique is fantastic for any forms of neuro disorders, scoliosis, multiple sclerosis. So I kind of figured that if I gave Richard Alexander lessons like for 1 week straight, it would be a good idea to see what effect that would have on the trembling of his left arm.
I'm excited at the possibility that it's going to be able to have a positive effect on the symptoms I've been experiencing.
So Richard, you've just had an Alexander lesson. How do you feel?
In general, the arm is a lot freer and a lot more relaxed. When I started there was quite a lot of trembling, and we went through extended periods where something that you were doing was definitely relaxing the arm. Some quite noticeable changes since yesterday. The aching that I was feeling when releases were happening yesterday seems to have disappeared overnight. During the lesson today I didn't feel any residual aches. Certainly when I'm standing up the arm feels a lot freer. One of the things that China did during the lesson was to stretch it out, so that rather than just hanging down and stretching it downwards, but to actually stretch it and to feel the release under the arm, and that was really quite an intense feeling, and a feeling of relief and release. So I'm pleased with the way things are going. If it continues at this rate, I'll be well pleased. Well, this is day 3, and I've continued to notice changes. Last night, certainly in bed, my arm felt a lot more relaxed and my hand felt more relaxed. I went for a walk this morning around the park, and one of the things I've been trying to concentrate on is swinging my arm a bit, because I tend to hold it very stiffly, and it seemed to me that I had a lot more freedom in the movement of the arm. It felt a lot looser and easier. I didn't experience any particular stiffness in the wrist today. The fingers still tend to clench up, but there seems to be a general change in the feel of things, so the tremoring that I'm feeling still happens, but it seems a lot more, it's difficult to explain, a lot more relaxed, a lot easier, a lot less tense. It's as if the muscles themselves are still continuing to tremble, but their basic state isn't so tense. I don't know if that makes sense to me. General continuous improvement, I'm very encouraged. 4 lessons today. I've certainly noticed continuing improvement over the past couple of days. The arm is a lot looser, the wrist feels a lot stronger. I'm continuing to experience tremors, but they're less dramatic, they're much milder. Generally speaking, I've been very happy with the way things have been going over the past couple of days. Today's lesson was extraordinary, moving into a different space, it seems, where everything is calming down.
Today when I started working with him, I really noticed that his entire nervous system was a lot calmer, and his hand is really not trembling anyway near how it was trembling before. So it's clear signs that, you know, the Alexander technique is very effective. And also what we've done over the last couple of days is added just some, you know, a few little yoga stretches, very gentle, just to get the muscles you know, active again, and releasing, you know, further releasing tension. And I think the combination of the Alexander technique and the yoga is really beneficial.
Certainly the stretching exercises that we did after the main part of the Alexander lesson had a very, very positive effect, and I could feel everything was a lot looser. I'm extremely pleased with the way things are going. Well, day 5, and quite impressive changes since yesterday. My arm is a lot more relaxed, my wrist is a lot more relaxed, and I have really not had any trembling at all today. Really remarkable. A tiny amount when some tension in my neck was released during the lesson, but absolutely nothing like it has been previously. It's just like the whole nervous system has calmed down. Did some more stretching, that felt great. And my whole upper body feels a lot looser. It's really nice. I'm very pleased.
I've noticed really good changes with Richard, especially after his 4th lesson. His nervous system seems to be a lot calmer, and the trembling of his left hand, it does seem to be a lot less. So the progress has been really good, and I've noticed that Richard isn't holding onto his arm as much. His arm seems to be a lot freer. Which is a really good sign, and you know, just the way that he is within himself in terms of his mobility feels and looks a lot better. So you know, he's definitely moving in the right direction. I think the Alexander technique is really having a major effect on his condition.
Well, I've lost track. I think we're on about day 6 or 7. Spectacular results really. My left arm feels incredibly loose and mobile. I think a lot of the stretching exercises have been very effective and powerful. But I just have a very strong sense that my body is readjusting itself. I caught myself holding my arm in this old unusual position, and it actually felt wrong. The thing that directed my attention to it was I thought it felt uncomfortable, whereas there was a time when that was the only position it was comfortable in, which is really good. The clenching of the left hand, the claw-like locking of the fingers, seems to have stopped. Brilliant.
I'm really, really pleased for Richard. I'm going to keep on giving him lessons, and hopefully by the time he goes back to the hospital to get another checkup, he will be able to, you know, let them see and know that the work that he's been having outside of the hospital, i.e. the Alexander technique, is helping to manage the symptoms of early signs of Parkinson's disease.